All right, we are back with our final guests of the day. It is 4:20 actually out here. I guess that means maybe I shouldn't be having a beer and maybe I should be having something else if we're in California and it's 4:20. But nonetheless, we have beers and we have Sam Capione, the Vice President of Speakeasy Ales and Lagers.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, I'm going to start with the question that you told me to re-ask you. From a little over, you can drink the beer. You're going to need it. From a little over a year ago when we spoke on the last live broadcast, which was, why the hell did you buy Speakeasy when you could have just started your own brewery? And now that we're over a year away from that question, what have you learned?
Well, I've learned a lot. I have a lot more gray hair. I have a lot less hair. And I'm actually a foot shorter than I was last year.
It's not surprising. You bought a distressed business and you had to turn it around.
But I've learned a couple valuable things. One, don't look at what the business did before you got it. Look at what you have to do in a new era. You said something else last year about the crowded market space, and that's what I found. And if you haven't been in the market space for a year and a half, it's changed completely. So I had to relearn that, even though I spent my entire life in the marketplace. But here's the key. I found the other craft brewers in your area want to help you. That's amazing.
Still
Want to help. Yes, you're going to fight over tap handles. You're going to do this and that but they want to help you. They want to help you if you need grain, if you need hops, if you need a glass, if you need a helping hand, if you need somebody to come over and look at something. They're there to help you. It's in the amount of help that I've gotten from all of Northern California is, it's not surprising because that's what I thought it was, but it is surprising being in business for, the better part of 40 years, and not ever seeing that.
Yeah. Well, you were on the wholesaler side. Now you're on the manufacturing side. What's been the biggest thing that you've learned?
Dealing with those crazy wholesalers. I can say that now.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I learned is manufacturing is hard work.
Yeah.
It's really hard work, and it costs a lot of money to bring the ingredients in and follow them all the way through to a finished product in some sort of vessel. It's expensive. It takes a long time, and then you sell it, and you wait to get your pay for it, and so you're looking at a 60, 80-day turnaround time in manufacturing. So in any one of those steps, if anything goes wrong, it's very detrimental. And if anything could have gone wrong, it did this past year. It was a fun year.
Yeah, we were talking last night over a couple beers, and man, it seems like you had. You ran through the gauntlet on like all the horror stories. Like you said, anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Maybe share a couple that you want to.
No, it's okay.
Some of the more notable ones.
Probably the largest one. The two largest ones were that we had a problem with the boiler sensor, so no water came back into the boiler, and because the sensor had water in that.
Yep.
And so it thought it had water in the tank.
Yep.
It stayed on all weekend. So a lot of things could have happened because of that. Nothing happened except for it broke down. We had to fix it, and they had to come in and redo the sensor part. Right after that, our brew house went down because it's all on. It's kind of like your new cars. When the computer crashes, you're not going anywhere with that thing.
Yep.
But when the computer crashes in a brew house that's run by the computer, you got to wait. They got 2 people in the United States, and we weren't high on their list. So it took 11 days to get in. We lost 1,000 barrels of beer.
Wow.
On the heels of that, the sensor went on the keg filler. And then there was other things besides that.
You guys had a bottling line issue.
We bought a bottling line from a little craft brewer in Vermont, and we hauled it over there last fall. And we are just starting to bottle now. So it took about 6 or 7 months more than we thought it would.
And in that time, you were outsourcing production still through Schmaltz up in New York.
For the bottles, yes.
But then Jeremy decided to pivot and change his business model and move away from his own manufacturing and get back to sort of the nomadic brewer that he started out as.
His roots.
And I imagine that would have thrown a monkey wrench into everything as well, because you kind of
it did.
You lost a
yes,
contract
it did.
partner.
And I thought we would have the bottling line up. We had a few more snags in it. And it turns out that I was short, so I've shorted my wholesaler partners on the bottles, which, by the way, is our largest selling package, individual package, the bottles.
And that makes up, what, like 90% of your business or something?
No,
or your package business at least?
The package business it does, yes. It's 90-10. The cans were about 10.
So coming out of all this, do you have a greater appreciation as a former wholesaler for what brewers go through on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, immensely. It is truly, and especially for a craft brewery, it is truly a labor of love. It has to be.
Yeah.
Either that or you got a pile of money. So it's one or the other. And I know there are a lot of people that got in as a hobby. They have a lot of money, but they're spending a lot of money, and those people, I think, are getting out. The true craft brewers that have stayed the test of time are in it for the love of it, because it seems like it takes quite a while for you to turn a profit.
So I got to ask, if there are 3 options in front of you a year ago, you can buy Speakeasy out of bankruptcy, you can start your own brewery, or you can do neither. What are you choosing, knowing what you know today?
I still buy Speakeasy.
And why is that?
Through all this, I haven't said anything yet, but through all this year, the most impressive was the help I got from the other brewers.
Yep.
The second most impressive is that no matter what we do to step on our foot, the brand Big Daddy and Prohibition, which are 20 and 21 years old now, are still selling everywhere, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that if I did anything right last year, the brands were something that I think are going to continue. And while we're looking at new beers now, new offerings and all that, now that we've got things turned around, the mainstays are still Big Daddy and Prohibition neck to neck. And in some areas, like Arizona, for instance, it's Prohibition, which is 21 years old now.
Yeah. So where are you guys going to finish the year? I mean, you've overcome a lot of challenges and hurdles, and you had a few missteps, but how are things going to shake out for 2018?
Well, I think they're positive from where we started. Month-over-month sales have been increasing every month. I stopped looking at 2016, 2015. I had all that data from the past company. I stopped looking at that. All I'm looking at now is month-over-month sales. Are they increasing each month? And they are.
That's good.
Our points of distribution are increasing. So those are all healthy signs. The sell-through through each account is increasing. So it's from the beginning, from May to now, it's up 6%, and we had those things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Lack of product, but it was still up 6% in sell-through. So that tells me that the brand's healthy, and we've got a future. It's going to be, it's not going to be easy. We still haven't really mastered the chains yet. We're still, as they would call the brands, in the penalty box from the past sins. But we're looking to have a better year next year with the chain stores, and that could put us over the hump.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like you had operational challenges, but there is still value in the brand equity that Speakeasy, I guess, maintained despite some of the turmoil that the company faced a couple of years ago, I mean, there was still significant brand equity
Yes.
in the Speakeasy label and the identity, and that's something that doesn't go away, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that would say that, well, you brought the brewery out of the ashes, right? The whole Speakeasy theme and all that.
Yeah.
And while that might be true, the jury's still out on that. The brand never burned. It never became ashes.
Yeah.
It's amazing the what we got from the retailers about the brand. We're glad it came back. I mean, from our home city of San Francisco to the larger Bay Area, to Southern California, to even Arizona, and all the way over to New York City.
Yeah.
They like Big Daddy. They like Prohibition too.
So what's the future for Speakeasy and for you guys as owner-operators now? I mean, how long do you guys want to do this? Is there, at some point, is there another transaction that occurs? Do you guys sell the business? I mean, what's sort of the long-term plan?
Great question. We don't know. That's the true answer. Our job was to bring this business to profitability, to bring the brand back. And it wasn't, and I told you a year ago, it wasn't just to sell it. If we can do that, we might be in this for a long haul. But there's a lot of other factors as we're seeing the consolidation, as we're seeing that tightening. There's a lot of things to consider. We have a 60,000 barrel, in theory, capacity brewery shoved into a 14,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah, that is tight.
It's not much room for anything else but the machinery.
Yeah.
So we have some obstacles we have to overcome, and that's cold warehouse space, et cetera, as we grow. So I would think that maybe we could do 40 out of the warehouse, not 60.
How much beer are you going to make this year? I mean, you got to be well short of that given the operational challenges.
We'll probably come in around between 12 and 14.
Okay.
Which was fairly good considering the year.
Yeah.
A lot less than I thought. About 60% less than I thought.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that before you did. But it's encouraging because, like I said, month over month is happening. We're getting increased handles in the on-premise, which is important to our brand. 65% of our brand is still sold on-premise.
How long can you guys continue to run at this rate? Like, what's the burn rate on the cash that's coming into the business to keep it afloat from outside? And like, at what point can you turn it fully around and let the business sustain itself?
Well, we first built a 3-year forecast last year, and that, of course, got updated like a lot of people's forecasts did. Mm-hmm. But sustaining this rate at a month-over-month growth of about 20-25%, we would be burning money for another year and a half.
Okay. And then some big decisions, probably.
Right. If we get one little chain, maybe 100 stores in Northern California Safeway, changes the whole game.
Safeway, if you're listening.
My friends at Safeway.
Speakeasy needs your help.
But with everything else that's going on, I think that we're tracking right now the last month since we got everything back online at about 2,000 barrels a month production. Okay. So we're looking at 24,000. We need to be at 22,000 break even.
Okay.
So that's the model.
So you're trending in the right direction.
Yes.
You've got a year and a half until you have some big decisions.
Yes.
And then we'll see what happens with the Speakeasy brand then.
Yes. I mean, I could be here next year down in Long Beach, or not.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly an interesting position to be in for sure.
It's fun.
It's fun. It is fun. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Sam. We'll check in with you in the next 6 months, and then maybe in 12 months. We'll see how things are going.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Good luck out there.
All right.